This video is brought to you by Devout Decals, makers of reusable Catholic art for your home altar, your bedroom, and your home classroom.
We return to something that I actually haven't brought to the channel in quite some time. A compendium of work by a priest by the name of Culleton, who in the late 19th and early 20th centuries was writing about the end times. And he, in this compendium that I was working through with the audience, he was talking about, we'll say not scriptural writings from the times of the fathers, but things that the church has not condemned. They just were not considered to be revealed, not inspired Holy Writ. These are things like the Epistle of Barnabas, the Epistle of James, and a few other things that are not in sacred scripture. Today we return to that. And what you're going to hear probably will sound very familiar. The several excerpts he quotes describe the pestilence of our time. And I don't mean any kind of medical issue. I'm talking about the corruption of our time. And he describes it in two ways: a loss of charity and a loss of cleanliness. And that cleanliness he does not mean by bathing. It's pretty clear that the cleanliness, the uncleanness that afflicts man at this time, it's the sin of James Martin, or that sin that James Martin has an unhealthy interest in for a priest. That's why this will all sound very familiar. He's describing the age just before the arrival of the AntiChrist. And in some ways, in some of the excerpts, how the AntiChrist will attempt to sell himself to the people so that they will follow him instead of Christ. An excerpt from the Apocalypse of Paul. Straightway the gate was opened, and there came forth a hoary-headed man to meet us. And he said to me, Welcome, Paul, beloved of God. And with a joyful countenance he kissed me with tears. And I said to him, Father, why weepest thou? And he said to me, Because God hath prepared many good things for men, and they do not his will, in order that they may enjoy them. And I asked the angel, My Lord, who is this? And he said to me, This is Enoch, the witness of the last day. Looking away, I saw other two from afar off. And I asked the angel, Who are these, my Lord? And he said to me, These are Enoch and Elias. And they came saluting me, saying, Welcome, Paul, beloved of God. And I said to them, Who are you? And Elias the prophet answered, and he said to me, I am Elias the prophet, who prayed to God, and he caused that no rain should come down upon the earth for 3 years and 6 months, on account of the unrighteousness of the sons of men. For often, of a truth, even the angel brought God on account of the rain. And I heard, Be patient until Elias my beloved shall pray, and I send rain upon the earth. An excerpt from the Revelation of John. Then shall appear the denier, and he who is set apart in the darkness, who is called AntiChrist. And again I said, Lord, reveal to me what he is like. And I heard a voice saying to me, The appearance of his face is dusky, the heads of his head are sharp like darts, his eyebrows like a wild beast's, his right eye like the star which rises in the morning, and the other like a lion's, his mouth about 1 cubit, his teeth a span long, his fingers like scythes, the print of his feet of 2 spans, and on his face an inscription, Antichrist. He holds in his hand a cup of death, and all that worship him drink of it. His right eye is like the morning star, and his left like a lion's, because he was taken prisoner by the archangel Michael, and took his godhead from him. And I was sent from the bosom of my Father. I drew up the head of the polluted one, and his eye was consumed. And when they worshipped him, he writes on the right hands, that they may sit with him in the outer fire. And for all who have not been baptized and have not believed, have been reserved all anger and wrath. And I said, My Lord, and what miracles does he do? Hear righteous John. He shall remove mountains and hills, and he shall beckon with his polluted hand, Come all to me. And through his displays and deceits they will be brought together to his own place. And he will raise the dead and show in everything like God. He will be exalted even to heaven, and shall be cast down even to Hades, making false displays. And then will I make the heaven brazen, so that it shall not give moisture upon the earth. And I will hide the clouds in secret places, so that they shall not bring moisture upon the earth. And I will command the horns of the wind, so that the wind shall not blow upon the earth. And again I said, Lord, and how many years will he do this upon the earth? And I heard a voice saying to me, Hear righteous John, 3 years shall be those times be, and I will make the 3 years like 3 months, and the 3 months like 3 weeks, and the 3 weeks like 3 days, and the 3 days like 3 hours, and the 3 hours like 3 seconds, as said the prophet David. His throne hast thou broken down to the ground. Thou hast shortened the days of his time. Thou hast poured shame upon him. And then I shall send forth Enoch and Elias to convict him, and they shall show him to be a liar and a deceiver, and he shall end them at the altar, as said the prophet. Then shall they offer calves upon the altar. An excerpt from the Epistle of Barnabas. And God made in 6 days the works of his hands, and he finished them on the 7th day, and he rested the 7th day and sanctified it. Consider, my children, what that signifies. He finished them in 6 days. The meaning of it is this, that in 6,000 years the Lord will bring all things to an end. For with him 1 day is 1,000 years, as himself testifieth, saying, Behold, this day shall be as 1,000 years. Therefore, children, in 6 days, that is, in 6,000 years, shall all things be accomplished. And what is it that he saith, and he resteth the 7th day? He meaneth this, that when his Son shall come and abolish the season of the wicked one, and judge the ungodly, and shall change the sun and moon and the stars, then he shall gloriously rest in that 7th day. An excerpt from the Epistle of the Apostles. Take heed that no man deceive you, and that ye be not doubters and serve other gods. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ. Believe them not, neither draw near them. Verily I say unto thee, when the twigs of the fig tree have sprouted forth in the last days, the fig tree is the house of Israel, then shall feigned Christs awake expectation, saying, I am the Christ that am now come into the world. In the last days the kinsman shall show no favor of his kinsman, nor any man to his neighbor. And that they were overthrown shall rise up and behold them that overthrew them, and men shall take from one and give to another. But they that are deceivers in the world and enemies of the righteousness, upon them shall come the fulfillment of the prophecy of David, who said, Their feet are swift to shed blood, their tongue uttereth slander, slander's poison is upon their lips. I behold thee accompanying with thieves and partaking with adulterers. Thou continued speaking against thy brother, and put a stumbling blocks before thine own mother's son. And there shall be many that believe on my name, and yet follow after evil, and spread vain doctrine. And men shall follow after them and their riches, and be subject unto their pride, and lust for drink and bribery. And there shall be respect of persons among them. There shall come forth another doctrine, and because they shall strive after their own advancement, they shall bring forth an unprofitable doctrine. And therein shall be a deadly corruption of uncleanness, and they shall teach it, and shall turn away from the eternal life. But woe unto them that falsify this my word and commandment, and draw away from them that hearken to the commandment of life. For together with them they shall come unto the everlasting judgment. An excerpt from the Epistle of James. There shall be wonders and strange appearances in heaven and on earth before the end of the world come. Tell us now, how shall we perceive it? And he answered us, I will teach it to you, and not that which believe, as well as them who shall hear that man and believe in me. In those years and days shall it come to pass. The sun and moon fighting one with another, a continual roiling and noising of thunders and lightnings, thunder and earthquakes, cities falling and men perishing in their overthrow, a continual drought for lack of rain, a terrible pestilence and great mortality, mighty and untimely, so that they perish lacking burial, and the bearing forth of brethren and sisters and kinsfolk shall be upon one bier. The kinsman shall show no favor to his kinsman, nor any man to his neighbor. And that they were overthrown shall rise up and behold them that overthrew them, that they lack burial. The pestilence shall be full of hatred and pain and envy, and man shall take from one and give to another, and thereafter shall it wax yet worse than before. And then shall my Father be wroth at the wickedness of men, for many are their transgressions, and the abominations of their uncleanness weighty heavy upon them in the corruption of their life. Lord, will not then the nations say, Where is thy God? And he answered and said unto us, Thereby shall the elect be known, that they, being plagued with such afflictions, come forth. We said, Will then their departures out of the world be by a pestilence which giveth them pain? He answered us, Nay, but if they suffer much affliction, it will be approving of them. In those years and days shall war be kindled upon war. The four ends of the earth shall be in commotion and fight against each other. Therefore shall be quakings of clouds, darkness and drought, and persecution of them that believe in me, and against the elect. Thereupon shall come doubt and strife and transgressions against one another. Does that sound familiar to you? I think it should. Let me know if you want me to continue with this work on weekends periodically. I will be happy to do so. This is an incredible text by R. Gerald Culleton, a Catholic priest who was doing everything he could to let people know what the problem was, because even in his time, there were signs of this. You only have to go back to the messages of Our Lady from approved apparitions like La Salette, or Our Lady of the Good Event of the Purification, often miscalled Our Lady of Good Success for some reason, even though the name doesn't translate to that from Spanish, or any other of the approved Marian apparitions that you might be familiar with. They always talk about a corruption of morals and a spreading of uncleanness and a loss of charity, that man's heart will grow cold. And it seems that the ancient writers in the first few centuries of the church warned of the same thing as well. So let me know what you think of this in the comments, please. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't. It certainly helps. So does sharing this on social media. That helps too. And as always, pray for the church. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.